Are you struggling to find the most recent date from a connected table? If so, then it's worth checking out this knowledge base article, which I'll link to in the description. But what do I actually mean about linking to a date from a connected table? In my test application, I've got some company details and 3 invoices. And you can see here there's a date due. And what I want to do is pull through from the related line items the most recent date. So I have 2022, 2023 and 2024. And as you can see in the details section at the top here for the company, I have my maximum date, which is the 22nd of January 2024. So it's pulling through this date from the related details. And if I was to change the date here, so if I change 2023 to 2026, it will automatically update the date in the parent record. So this test application is a very simple structure. I have a company table which is connected to invoices, so each company can have many invoices and each invoice can have many line items. So at the top of my application I have my companies table, and I can click into the company, see the company details at the top, my related invoices underneath, and then I can click through an invoice and see related line items. As I mentioned a moment ago, it's definitely worth checking out the knowledge base article. But why I'm doing a video on this is it's worth understanding that you can't pull through the maximum value of a date only. You have to change it into a number. And to do that, you have to use a Unix number. So for those of you that aren't familiar with Unix time, just to run you through how this works. Computer time starts from the 1st of January 1970. And all dates are based on how many seconds have elapsed since the 1st of January 1970. So in this example here, I've got 3 dates, all the 22nd of January, but just on different years. And here I'm just working out how many days have elapsed. So it's simply one date minus the other. So it's 19,744 days have elapsed since this date from the 1st of January 1970. And then by just doing a simple calculation here, I can multiply that by 24 hours in a day, 60 minutes in an hour, and 60 seconds in a minute to give me how many seconds have elapsed. So this is Unix time. And then we can actually look at what is the biggest number, what is the maximum number out of these 3 numbers, and then convert it back to a date. So I'm in my invoice table and I have my invoice dates here. If you add a new field and add the field as a equation, and I've just called mine date due Unix, and set the equation type to date, seconds and a number. So it will create a number of seconds based on the date. And what we want to put in here is the date due, which is coming from my table here, which is this date due. And this gives me the numbers which we saw on the spreadsheet. If you're getting some value from this tutorial, please do give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Also, if you've got any other ideas of things you'd like me to run through, then please put it in the comments below. It's always useful to have other subjects to work on. Anyway, I'll let you carry on watching. So now I've converted my actual date into a Unix value, and I'll be able to then look in the company table and add a max field to pull through the highest value. So simply add a new field, and in this case it will be a max field. If I just change this to the fields view, you'll be able to add a field here and then choose the max value field. I'm just going to add it in again. You will then be able to select the date due Unix value. So that's the number coming from the related invoices. So as you can see, it's pulling back the number here, starting in 1769. If I go back into my invoices, 1769 is this number here, which is the one for 2026, which is correct. So we now have in the company table the Unix value for the maximum date value. All we need to do then is to add an equation field set to date, seconds, and the result being date, and then put the field in from this table, which is the max date due Unix, and you can get this from the drop down here. So what we're doing, this field here is this field here, and it converts it back to a date. And then this is the date that we can then use in any details view. So if I come back over to my pages, go into my company, companies, company details, and this is the view that we were looking at. I can then simply add details, and the max date due is here. Obviously this one is the long number, but this one has been converted into a date. So just simply drop that on the form. So it's definitely worth just running through the knowledge base, but I thought it was also worth explaining what Unix time is and how it works out how many seconds and how they then max that number up to the parent record. I do hope that makes sense, and look forward to catching you on the next one.